Okay, I'm going to rant on this new Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated. It's not right. First of all, so it's believed that in 1969, when the first ones were made, that Fred and Daphne did have a thing for each other, but it never was openly admitted. And while people may assume it, and I assume it, but I don't say yes, it is true. I just think, it's possible it could happen, but I'm not going to openly say, "Ooh, they're engaged and you should respect that," like they do in this new stuff. No, it's people just make it wrong. This is not how it was intended way back when. It was intended to solve mysteries, to not just a different mystery every time, have no relation to the other one like it does now. Sure, I don't mind if it has relation to it now. Relations to each episode, that's fine. But don't make the relations, well, we were engaged in the last one, so we're married in this one. No. Second, Velma doesn't wear a bow. Since when does Velma wear a bow? Since when does she have a crush on Shaggy? Since when do they openly admit it? And since when does she act like a little bitch? No. I've watched this show all of maybe 15 minutes of the whole thing, whole series, and I hate it. It's horrible. I would never watch it again. Out of what I got out of it was that right there. That that Velma is not right. That Fred and Daphne are put wrong. It is not about love in this whole thing. It is about solving mysteries and unmasking the bad guy. What happened to that? What happened to Shaggy and Scooby eat all the time because they're hungry and they have Scooby snacks for their fear, to conquer their fear, to go do things, and Fred or Daphne or Velma, they always carry around the Scooby snacks, and Velma always loses her glasses, and things like that. And I would have gotten away with it if it hadn't been for you meddling kids. Not this other crap that they may call them. I mean, sure, in other movies they may call them something else. That's okay. But the point to get across is that it's the meddling kids. It's those kids that get into trouble that do it, but they don't get truly into trouble. They don't really get arrested because they turn out to be the good guys. They're not considered the bad people. That they're not the bad people. They don't get arrested because they do what is right. They don't break into buildings. And if they do in the old ones, which I take that back, they do break into buildings on the old ones. The first episode ever came out, and not What a Night for a Night. They broke in back into the museum at night. But it was to solve the mystery. It wasn't to get some clues out. No, they stayed in there until they solved the mystery. They never came back out. And just like a clue for Scooby Doo. They didn't go underwater and snoop around stuff and come back with some clues. No, they stayed underwater till they solved that whole crime. Now, I admitted there has to be a lot of oxygen in those tanks, but it's a cartoon. I mean, really, it's a cartoon. You can have endless oxygen supply. It's just the way they make these. It's no wonder kids are so, "Oh, I love you," after the first day or first 30 minutes of dating. And "I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you. I've known you all for 10 minutes." Because of shows like this. Shows like this for little kids are shown they're in love. They're like this. No, 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 no. Solve the crime. No romance. Enough with this romance. I got along just fine without it. Here I am, 16 years, never had a show. I mean, I'm sure I watched some that had a little romance, but I mean, come on. You can't have every show without it. But when you put shows that have been out, that were originally made 50, years ago. Almost 45 years ago. 43, I think, actually. 40, yeah, 43, almost 44 years ago. And you try to change it? Those kids that were young 40-something years ago are going to know what you did. They're not dead. They may not watch cartoons anymore, but if they see their old shows on, I know they're going to watch it. Because that's exactly what my mom and dad do. If they see something on that they used to watch as a kid, they're watching it. My mom always has to watch the Jetsons or the Flintstones or the Smurfs. If that's on, she's watching it. Scooby, the original Scooby, Scooby Doo, where are you? Watching that. This new Scooby Mystery Incorporated, I watched it the first day it came out. Me and my mom sat down. We said, "Oh, we're going to watch this. We're going to see if it's good." First 5 minutes, Velma's all over Shaggy. Yeah, you know what we're going to do later on tonight, right? No. You know, everybody's wondering why all these kids are getting pregnant. Because of stupid cartoons like that. And I'm not pointing at the TV because that is baseball. That has nothing to do with cartoons. I'm just flicking this pen around because I'm so angry with it. It's not cartoons. It's not how it was intended. You think the Smurfs were intended like that? You think Alvin and the Chipmunks? Now that they've made these real movies, I don't see any romance in them. There was no romance. Well, yeah, there was romance in the original Scooby movie where they made the um like the real people back in 2001, I believe. 2001, 2002, something like that. Ah, why does that hurt so bad? And yeah, okay. So Velma fell in love with some random guy there. Shaggy fell in love with some random girl. That's understandable. You can do that. It's gonna be a one episode movie thing. The second movie, Velma falls in love with a completely different guy, Patrick. So what? You never see of Patrick again. And while we're talking about the real movies, that movie, Scooby Doo Mystery Begins, wrong. Completely wrong. Because the second movie tells you what their first ever case was. Their first ever case was the Black Knight. But if you watch this Mystery Begins movie, it acts like their first case they ever solved was in their school. They can't even get two movies back to back right. They can't even get Scooby Doo 2 and Scooby Doo 3 right. That's no. I agree with what my fourth grade religion teacher, who is now my 11th grade religion teacher, told me back at our cabin so many years ago. I put in Scooby Doo 2. It just came out on DVD, and I thought everybody at our cabin should watch it. I was 7 or 8 years old. And whenever you saw Velma falling all over Patrick, or, like having a thing for Patrick, Tony said, Scooby Doo 3, Velma's in love. And I thought, ooh, that would be funny. That would be cool. With this Patrick guy, keep it going a little bit. I don't care. You can put the same characters in there. It doesn't bother me that the characters are repeated. It bothers me that they're repeated not for solving mysteries, but for love. That's not right. Don't be fooled into this type of Scooby. The Scooby isn't right. I refuse to watch it. And if you've seen the original Scoobies, you should refuse it too, because it's not what you grew up with. Now, granted, I'm not 40-something years old, I'm just 16, but I know better than that. I know better than to believe this new stuff. It's not right. It never will be right. The original is always the best. I take that back. Original is not always best. Sometimes remakes are better. But most of the time, original is best. I mean, what would y'all say if they made a new shoot, what's a good show? What if they made a new... Oh, here's a good one. All That. Anybody remember the show of All That? All That was an amazing show about kids on a show doing skits. You know, it was kind of like a kid version of In Living Color. I've seen those shows because my parents have showed me In Living Color, and now that Nickelodeon um came back with 90s or All That, I watch All That and I watch Kenan and Kel. How would you like it if they made a new version of Kenan and Kel? Oh wait, they did. Drake and Josh. Both good. Like them both. Wonderful. The thing I don't like is I never really liked All That when I was little, but now that I watch it, it's pretty good. I do like it. But the only reason I realized that I liked it was because they came out with a show called Sunny with a Chance on Disney. Same producer, creator, whatever, but they did the exact same thing. They took kids, put them on a show with skits, and let them do skits. Ask Ashley came on All That. It did not start on So Random. It started on All That. Then they decided to come out with the actual show, So Random, and make that an actual show. No, no, no. That's just picking off of All That. Ashley gets me every time because Amanda Bynes was the first Ashley, not this other little kid that crawls through air ducts or whatever. And I swear, if there's a French guy in a bathtub, I'm gonna get really mad. If Pierre Escargot is ever put in another bathtub, I'm not gonna be very happy. I don't think Kenan Thompson's gonna like that either. If you ever come up with a new Miss Fingerly, no. So, see, sometimes making a newer one doesn't work. And it doesn't work. The new Scooby doesn't work. The new All That doesn't work. So random, it doesn't work. It's not. They don't work. They just don't work. Don't let it fool you, because the real Scooby started in 1969 and ended in 1972-ish. And then the new Scooby Doo movies, those are reasonable, those are good. And what's new Scooby Doo? Those are good. But this Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated took it too far. And that's where it has to stop. No more. Go back to the originals if you want to make any more. No more of this new Scooby.